Welcome to the session and thank you for choosing to join us. My name is Ruth and I'm Benevolent Grants Manager at the RCN Foundation. As an independent charity, the RCN Foundation is here for every current and former nurse, midwife and healthcare support workers, as well as students and nursing associates. We're part of the Royal College of Nursing Group, but you don't have to be an RCN member to receive our support. We provide a variety of grants, including benevolent grants, which are there to support nurses, midwives, and healthcare support workers in times of hardship and need. Financial well-being is about managing the money we have well and forming healthy habits, as being in control of this can help our overall well-being. We're delighted to have Anthony Price from our debt advice partner, PayPlan, with us today. Anthony will share valuable tips to help you have constructive conversations about money and debt. We'll also arm you with information and tools to help you feel better equipped in discussing this topic with your friends and family. Anthony, would you like to start by introducing yourself and providing a little information about who PayPlan are?
Yeah, absolutely, certainly. Firstly, let me just start by saying thank you for having me with you today. Really lovely to be on this session with you. So I guess a little bit about our organisation. We are a free of charge, fully regulated provider of debt advice and debt support, and also debt solutions. So looking at the ways that we can help somebody to deal with the debt and get out of debt ultimately. We've been around for a long time, so we've actually been open for the last 30 years, starting in 1992. And today we help around 3,000 clients, 3,000 new people that come to us for help every single week. So a lot of people that need our help, we're here to help every single one of them. We're completely confidential, and that's really important. I know a lot of people will be worried about when they come to us, will my information be kept private and confidential? Absolutely, no need to be concerned about that at all. And there's a wide range of different options for people to engage in debt advice as well. So lots of choice when it comes to getting that right and feeling comfortable when you come to us for help, whether that's over the phone or also online. And we are here to help, whether that's with a one-off piece of advice. Someone might just call us just for a quick question. We're here to do that. Or whether it's for full debt advice as well and looking at the solutions that someone might be able to go into in order to tackle that debt problem that they might be struggling with. So lots of flexibility. And the ultimate thing I want to get across is that we're free, we're confidential, and we're here to help whenever anybody needs us.
What are some of the key issues you're seeing? What type of calls are you receiving?
Yeah, really good question. And there is actually a big variety of people that are coming to us with different debt needs and different reasons why they're reaching out and different concerns. So one of the biggest right now, and has been for a little while, is actually the worries around energy prices rising and the changes that are occurring with, whether that's because of different energy companies disappearing, different tariffs and flexibility around choices disappearing as well. So actually, in a recent piece of research that we did, Ruth, 90% of people that came to us said that the increase to gas and electricity prices was one of the biggest impacts they were having or anticipating as well. And, we've seen things like the energy price cap that's going to disappear next month. Very, very close, isn't it? And just looking at that in isolation, that will potentially add 54% onto your average pricing bill for gas and electric. And I guess if you're looking at that day to day and the impact that has, that is just under £700 a year for your average person or average household. That's £60 a month. So lots of people that are concerned about that. Housing as well, worries about either rent or mortgage, or whether they're struggling to get into a new home property altogether. Also, lots of people that have reached out to us after furlough has ended, of course, with the government support with COVID and that disappearing as well. And I guess for a lot of people that are reaching out to us, it's a combination of these things, not necessarily just one of them, but a combination of those things that are worrying people. Other reductions of income as well. So it might not be just furlough, it could be loss of overtime, loss of different shifts, enhanced pay rates that they might have been getting as well at some stage. Nearly half of the people that contact us are worried about a reduction in income. And also linked to that, I guess, redundancy as well. So people that are either experiencing that or are all concerned that that might come, and then the impact that will have. We've also seen recently things like universal credit changing, and that top up that people were once getting £20 a week, that's a lot of money to lose overnight for some people. And we're getting a lot of people that are saying they're having to make some really crucial decisions right now. Am I going to be able to put the heating on? Am I going to put food on the table? And I think that's where we can come in, and we can really look at the ways that we can address that and balance things back off. The other two areas that we're seeing people struggling with, and that are, I guess, triggering people to need some help from us, are those that might be struggling with addictions. And a big percentage of that is linked to perhaps something like gambling. And we're here to help every single person in that kind of circumstance, and also domestic abuse as well. And I've only highlighted a few of those, but what we can see is that that's quite varied and sometimes quite complex. And we know that some people are feeling very overwhelmed at the time when they come to us. So one thing I do want to reassure people on is that when you come to us for help, you'll get that at a pace that works for you, in a way that works for you, so that it's manageable and that you feel comfortable.
Thanks, Anthony. So it's quite a wide range of concerns.
It is, yeah.
Have mental health struggles during the pandemic driven an increase in financial problems as well?
Yeah, well, without a doubt. There is and always has been a close link associated with debt and mental health problems and mental health concerns. But absolutely, the pandemic has added to that, whether that's because people have been in isolation, the knock-on effects of COVID to income, to just general day-to-day life. That has absolutely had an impact on financial problems and people's mindsets, and being able to navigate through all of that day to day. We recently did some research with clients that came to us to understand that a little bit more, actually, and to take a look at the impact that having debt has on mental health. And 82% of people that we spoke to through that survey and research said that having debt had impacted their mental health in one way or another, whether that was sleepless nights, anxiety, depression. And of course, adding into that, the issue around COVID and the pandemic has absolutely heightened that and made that worse for people. We know that. The one real positive through all of that, though, is what can be done very quickly when somebody contacts someone like ourselves for debt help. Again, through that same piece of research, 81% of people that felt that way immediately felt an impact positively to their mental health once they reached out and got that. And many clients that do that will feel that benefit from day one, just from reaching out and speaking to somebody who's going to be kind, who's going to be reassuring, and is going to be there as a professional. That can really make the difference. For others, it might be more ongoing. The thing is that we can make a difference to every single person that needs our help. So it's just taking that first step is the key. The other thing that our research shows is that more than half of people, actually nearly 60%, have said that they think about money worries all the time. And that, again, just in a pre-COVID, pre-pandemic kind of environment, that can start to really impact day to day, whether it's relationships, whether it's employment and work-based relationships, whatever it might be. If that is hard to escape because it is something that's on your mind all the time, that can really start to have that wider impact. And so, again, I think one of my key messages that I really want to get across to anybody that might be watching this today is we can make a really big difference, but reach out and get that help as quickly as you can, because you don't need to feel that you're on your own, because you're not. We talked about the fact earlier that we help over 3,000 people every single week. You're not on your own with this. When you pick up the phone or you contact us by email, we're there to support. So take that step and you'll feel the big difference immediately.
So there's a lot of support available, and it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. And in lots of different ways. And the other thing as well is that it's very tailored around the individual and what their needs are. We know that some people want to get help right today and they need that, and we're available to do that. We know that some people want to do it over the phone, absolutely, whereas other people want to do it all by email, and we can do that as well. And some people want to do everything in one go today, whereas the next person might want to do a little bit today and come back to it tomorrow and then revisit it the next week. I think it's really important that the support we give people is very tailored so that it works. You know, we're not rushing people. We're not doing things in a particular way that doesn't work for somebody. So yeah, lots of flexibility, lots of support.
How should we approach financial well-being post-pandemic, and why should people talk about debt?
Yeah, two really good questions there. And I guess actually, you know, right now is a fantastic time to be thinking about financial well-being and how to make a big difference. And when you know, that is so important post-pandemic, because we've seen the impacts in many ways, whether that is of a, you know, on an emotional level, whether it is about well-being generally, but also finances. But this could go for any time, with or without a pandemic. There's always a positive to looking at that approach and honing in on that financial well-being, really. So the first thing I would say is, we've said this already, but get help sooner rather than later. And the reason why I say that is a large proportion of people that come to us wait well over a year struggling before getting help. And what tends to happen is the longer that people wait to get help, the more complex it can actually become. And so the sooner you reach out for help, the easier it is to deal with that. And start looking at those things that you might be able to do yourselves. There might be things that you can do to address your financial well-being, and looking at things like your general incomings and outgoings, understanding what's on your credit report, for example, reviewing your tariffs and subscriptions. Or are you in a situation where you need to get some professional help from somebody like PayPlan? And that's where we can come in and give you that guided, handheld approach and really give you that professional service. The other thing as well is, a lot of people will worry that, first of all, that they might be charged for the service, that it isn't going to be confidential. And I think that goes for a lot of people that come to us actually for debt help. They're worried about the impact of getting advice. In particular, though, associated with people probably that work in a professional status, such as nursing, and are worried about that. And maybe they're thinking, if I come to PayPlan through the RCN Foundation, will information be given back? Will that be kept private? Will that impact my job? And I really want to just say that absolutely everything that we do for you is completely confidential. Advice doesn't impact you at all. You know, whether you move forward and decide to deal with your debts in certain ways, that might have an impact in some way. But in terms of getting advice, you can do that confidentially, free, and you do it very quickly and know what your options are. The other thing as well is about, you said about talking and why people probably don't talk. That is common, like I said earlier, about people waiting. So 65% of people that do end up contacting us have waited over a year before doing so. 21% actually wait well over 4 years. So that's quite a big proportion of people that have been struggling for some time. And what we know after doing this for 30 years and working with people very closely is that a lot of that is linked to embarrassment. Embarrassment, it might be shame, stigma, not wanting to burden others, worried about other people finding out. And I think a lot of that is to do with actually the way that we're brought up as a nation. You know, as a nation, the UK, we're not brilliant at talking about money and finance. We you know, it has got better, I think, but we've got a long way to go. And actually what we tend to find is that when people do open up, when we do start talking to others, there's lots of benefits that can come from that. And lots of people will find out that we all have probably money worries at some point in our life. You know, it can impact anybody. One of the common things that people say to us when we pick up the phone and we say, how can we help you? And we give them that advice. First of all, you can often hear a big sigh of relief. They're just glad to be able to speak to somebody about it. And second to that, we often get feedback when they'll say, I wish I'd spoken to you sooner. I wish I'd spoken to you sooner because this is just what I needed. So I guess 4 key reasons, 4 great reasons why people should talk about money, and whether that's to a loved one, a professional service, through the RCN Foundation. First of all, when we talk about money, we often then make better and less risky financial decisions. And that's often because we're not rushing into something. We're making a decision, we're balancing and weighing up those options, and we're collecting lots of knowledge. The second reason is that it often really improves and creates stronger personal relationships. Having money worries can really impact a lot of different relationships, whether that's an intimate relationship, whether it's right through to a professional relationship. And so it can really strengthen those and just get us working better collectively. Thirdly, it really can create some good habits for them and also their family, right through to children and the real younger ages, because again, talking about money in those environments means that it's not so much of a taboo word, and also that the skills that you can learn can really pass down to others. I know I've had that with my family in the past. I've really learned through things that they've taught me, even without them knowing it perhaps, but you pick up on those things. And then the fourth one is that, and this is a great reason why to do it, talking about money will normally lead to experiencing less stress, because you're discussing it in an open forum, you're not keeping it all in, and you're just actually going through the motions of getting support. So 4 great reasons why someone should talk.
Are there any changes in legislation that employees or employers need to be aware of?
Yeah, there are. One really big piece, actually. There's often new things coming in with regards to debt advice and the support that we can give. But something came in last May 2021 that was really, really significant, and it was a piece of groundbreaking legislation called breathing space. And the idea of breathing space is that it allows us as a debt advice provider to place somebody into breathing space, and it effectively gives them 60 full days of protection and shelter from the creditors that they might be struggling with. So when we say creditors, lenders such as mortgages, it could be utilities, it could be credit cards, loan store cards, catalogs, many types. It does 3 main things. Us putting somebody into breathing space will stop any risk of legal action. It will stop any contact that they might be going through at that moment, and also stops interest and charges on those debts. And the idea is that it gives those 60 days in order for somebody to have more time to explore the debt options and debt solutions that could be available to them. Not everybody will need that, because some people will come to us and get help the very same day, and they can move through and they're absolutely all okay and very much moving forward. But some people do need extra time. And that piece of new legislation is great to be aware of. It just means that we can put somebody there, give them that protection, and just give them that time to breathe, quite literally, called breathing space, but focus on what am I going to do next. So lots of things there that people can be aware of. Great piece of legislation that came in.
Thanks, Anthony. And just to wrap up, how do people get in touch with PayPlan?
Yeah, so there's different ways that this can work. And the first thing I would always say is, first of all, you can come directly through via RCN Foundation. So if you're working with the RCN Foundation and getting all of that additional support that they can give you, that can work really well as a very holistic approach. So the RCN Foundation can make a referral through to us, and then we can make contact with that person. The other side of things is that they could come to us directly if they feel they want to do that as well. And that's something that's possible. They can do that through our website, which is payplan.com, or through our free phone number, 0800 716 239. They could do that as well. And I think it's about finding a way that works for you. Certainly through the RCN Foundation, I think that works incredibly well, because it will give that holistic approach. They will, as you know, Ruth, you will do so many fantastic things to make sure that you're outlining other benefits that the member or non-member can access. So as well as debt advice through us. So that can be certainly a really great approach, but certainly people can come to us directly as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. Really nice to be here.
You can visit the RCN Foundation website, rcnfoundation.org.uk, to find out more about what we do.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Ruth. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Anthony.
Bye.